Yuma, hello and welcome to Finding Fulfilment. I'm Mary-Anne Cosgrove, CEO of Humanists Australia. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you today on Ngunnawal and Ngambri land and that sovereignty was never ceded. I pay my respects to their elders past and present and recognise their continuing connection to culture, country and language. I acknowledge and pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people watching this recording. I will listen to your voices, do my best to understand your stories and lived experiences, and speak up when I see you suffering from injustice. For tens, even hundreds of thousands of years, humans have been wondering about their place in the universe and pondering fundamental questions about their existence. Like religions, humanism developed as a way of answering those fundamental questions. In this presentation and discussion, we'll take a look at how humanists answer the question, how can I find meaning and fulfilment in life? If you'd like to learn more about humanist answers to other fundamental questions, come along to my bi-monthly presentation, or What is Humanism, or check it out on this YouTube channel. We'll look at finding fulfilment in 3 parts. Part 1, Sources of Meaning and Fulfilment. Part 2, Losing Fulfilment. Part 3, Finding Fulfilment. This video is intended to be played for a group of people who can watch the 5 to 10 minutes presentation for each section, then spend around 20 minutes discussing some questions about each part. All up, allow about an hour and a half. If you don't have anyone with you to engage in discussion, spend that time thinking about the questions for yourself. I'll let you know when to pause the video. Part 1. Sources of Meaning and Fulfilment. Not everyone strives to find meaning in their lives. Some people live their entire lives simply doing and being without looking for meaning. It's possible to live a contented life this way for those people. Indeed, everyone needs to spend at least some time being in the moment. It's a great way to relieve stress and recover from grief. But most people do want to find meaning and fulfilment as a broader context for their lives. Some find meaning through religion. This may be a comfort to them, but there are various reasons we'll look at later as to why this may not be healthy for the individual or the people around them. In contrast, humanists find meaning for themselves. The minimum statement is the core definition of humanism provided by Humanists International, formerly the International Humanist and Ethical Union, or IHEU. It includes the words, "Human beings have the right and responsibility to give meaning and shape to their own lives." The International Declaration of Modern Humanism, also known as the Amsterdam Declaration, says in Part 3, humanists strive for fulfilment in their lives. We value all sources of individual joy and fulfilment that harm no other, and we believe that personal development through the cultivation of creative and ethical living is a lifelong undertaking. It continues to say, we therefore treasure artistic creativity and imagination and recognize the transforming power of literature, music, and the visual and performing arts. We cherish the beauty of the natural world and its potential to bring wonder, awe, and tranquility. We appreciate individual and communal exertion in physical activity and the scope it offers for comradeship and achievement. We esteem the quest for knowledge and the humility, wisdom, and insight it bestows. All of these elements can give us ideas for how to find meaning for ourselves. James Hemming, British psychologist and humanist, said, "The meaning of life is to live it as wholly as we can, as bravely as we can, here and now, sharing the experience with others as we care for ourselves, and accepting our responsibility for leaving the world better than we found it." It's time for the first discussion. As you hold your discussions, please consider these guidelines. What happens in finding fulfilment stays in finding fulfilment. Please don't divulge anything said here today to anyone else. We listen to each other with an open mind and an open heart. We leave space when we speak, so that everyone has a fair opportunity to have their say. We avoid interrupting each other. If you can't get space to speak, raise your hand. If you see someone has raised their hand, please finish a sentence to allow them to speak. We speak respectfully to each other, even when we disagree. Here are some questions to prompt your thoughts. Have you had times in your life when just being was necessary and enough? Have you searched for fulfilment or meaning in the past? Where have you looked to find them? Where have your friends and family found them? Pause the video now for your discussion. Let's now go on to part 2, losing fulfilment. Even after you've found fulfilment, it may come to an end at some point. Leaving your religion, children leaving home, being made redundant, retiring from a rewarding and fulfilling career, the loss of someone you've been caring for. Loss of purpose in life usually brings with it very strong emotions, sometimes including real grief. Sometimes the loss of fulfilment is predictable in advance. If that's likely for you, it's a good idea to make plans in advance for what you will do afterwards. When you're feeling very strong emotions like this, be sure to reach out to friends and talk things through with them. Humanists Australia also has humanist care workers who offer emotional support. This can be a very dangerous time in people's lives. People can react by seeking oblivion through drugs or alcohol and may have thoughts of suicide. If you are experiencing this, please call Lifeline on 131114. Life doesn't always work out as we've planned. When your plans are shattered in pieces at your feet, it's natural to feel adrift or lost. What can you do to emerge from this? This is when you need to give yourself time and space to look deeply within and work out what makes you tick. In What Colour is Your Parachute?, Richard Nelson Bowles describes a process called the flower exercise. The flower exercise begins by looking back at past times when you felt energized and empowered, when you've been engaged in something that made time seem to fly. Being in that state of flow is one of the keys to finding fulfillment. Now analyze your stories, thinking about these 7 aspects of working. People. Consider the types of people you enjoy working with. Working conditions. This focuses on the conditions under which you perform best. It may include factors like flexible working hours, remote work, office settings, or your preference for a structured versus unstructured work environment. Transferable skills. These are skills you've acquired over time that can be transferred across various roles and industries. For instance, project management, problem solving, or leadership skills. Fields of knowledge. This petal captures specific knowledge areas you're interested in or have a deep understanding of. Level of responsibility. This petal evaluates your desire for responsibility. Are you seeking a leadership role or do you prefer a supportive team member role? Salary and level of lifestyle. Here you outline your financial goals and the lifestyle you aim for. It includes considerations like desired salary, job benefits, and work-life balance. Values and goals. This final petal is about your personal values and life goals, aligning your career with your moral compass and long-term aspirations. For me, this is the most important aspect that everything else revolves around. What Colour is Your Parachute? Gives guidance on this process and how to apply what you've discovered about yourself to job hunting. Aspects of this process can be adapted to working out what you need from life generally. Sometimes in our lives we feel stuck in a situation that's outside our control. For many of us, it may seem like a luxury to contemplate leaving that situation. Whether you are caring for someone who relies on you or struggling to make ends meet in an unrewarding job. Even in these circumstances, you can still make the most of where you are now. Being fully present and engaged in what you're doing will help to add meaning to your role. Look for ways to add value by thinking about the way you work and figuring out improvements, or by adding thoughtful extras to your engagement with your customers, colleagues, or the people who depend on you. Getting things done is a good methodology invented by David Allen for making the most of your various roles. While you're doing your best to make the most of your current situation, you can begin working towards change. Start by dreaming of a better future, but remember to stay engaged and present while you're on the job. Then, get some advice about how you might make the change you need, whether it's from friends or family or a professional. Finally, take steps to act on your plan. It's time for the second discussion. Here's a reminder of our discussion guidelines. What happens in finding fulfillment stays in finding fulfillment. We listen to each other with an open mind and an open heart. We leave space when we speak so that everyone has a fair opportunity to have their say. We avoid interrupting each other. Raise your hand if you want to speak. We speak respectfully to each other even when we disagree. Let's now spend around 20 minutes in discussion. Here are some questions to prompt your thoughts. Do you feel lost or stuck? How might you become unstuck or unlost? Have you or someone you know lost fulfillment in the past? How did that happen? What did that feel like? How did you or they recover? Please pause the video now for your discussion. Now it's time for part 3, Finding Fulfillment. There are as many ways to search for meaning and fulfillment in life as there are human beings. Some people seek fulfillment in healthy ways, ways that are sustainable and lead to better outcomes for the individual and their community. Unfortunately, there are also many unhealthy ways to seek fulfillment. These can trap people into leading shallow and destructive lives. Sometimes, in the search for meaning and purpose, people find a way of life that seems to fit the bill for a while. Some pursue money and material possessions. These bring a certain level of comfort and happiness initially, but if they become your sole reason for being, you end up on a stressful treadmill of work, perhaps in a job you no longer enjoy, to accumulate more stuff that you don't actually need. Some people, especially when they're young, get satisfaction from others' approval of their appearance, in real life or increasingly now on social media, especially Instagram. As their looks start to fade with age, fear of losing that approbation can lead people to undertake cycles of cosmetic surgery. Many people believe that their purpose is to be part of God's plan. That does bring comfort to some, but it reduces the person to being a pawn in a plan that cannot be understood. It leaves the person a victim without agency in their own life, and it leaves the person vulnerable to being manipulated by others who claim to know what God's plan is. Some who are feeling lost and alone find online communities that give them a sense of purpose through communal rage. This is how young people end up in extremist groups such as neo-Nazis, incels, predatory trollers, and ISIS. Other ways of fulfillment are healthier, leading to ways of life that are more sustainable for themselves and for their communities. These include raising a family, a rewarding and fulfilling career, the creative arts, sporting or other physical endeavours, caring for others, volunteering. And by the way, if you're looking for a volunteering opportunity, visit humanistaustralia.org/volunteer. You can, of course, combine more than one of these. I find my own fulfillment from a combination of career, family support, and volunteering. If you do this, be sure to leave enough space in your life to look after yourself. People who have discovered meaning and purpose for themselves usually find that it involves making use of your own natural talents and abilities, your superpowers. These aren't necessarily anything you think of as being particularly special. They're the things you enjoy doing that get you into that state of flow. Use your creativity and imagination to envisage a brighter future for your family, your community, the animals and environment around you, or the world. Then build caring relationships with other people as you use your superpowers to work towards that brighter future. It's time for the last discussion. Here is a reminder of our discussion guidelines. Let's now spend around 20 minutes in discussion. Here are some questions to prompt your thoughts. Have you or someone you know searched for fulfillment? Did you or they reach for healthy or unhealthy fulfillment? What were the consequences? What are your superpowers? What is your dream for the future? Who might come with you on that journey? Please pause the video now for your discussion. I hope you and your friends or family enjoyed this video and the discussion you had around the topics. In conclusion, here are the key takeaways. Meaning and fulfillment can be found within yourself. Look deeply to discover your own superpowers. Work towards a better future. Build caring relationships with others as you do. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support our work, there are 4 ways you can support Humanists Australia in helping people live compassionate, ethical and fulfilling lives without religion. Join us. If you identify as a humanist, your regular monthly membership contribution is the best way to help us plan our programs, as it provides us with a source of income we can rely on. Membership also allows you to contribute to the management of Humanists Australia by voting at general meetings and participating in Members Circle events monthly. Donate. If you'd like to contribute to a specific program, when you donate to Humanists Australia, you can select which program your money goes to. Create your legacy. A gift to Humanists Australia in your will could make a huge difference to our ability to deliver on our programs. We've partnered with Gathered Here so that you can write a free legal will online. It can take as little as 10 minutes. Volunteer. Find fulfillment in your life by working with our friendly team to build a better future for Australia. You can volunteer to help with a specific project or in an ongoing role. Visit humanistsaustralia.org/support to learn more. If you haven't yet decided whether you're a humanist, come along to What is Humanism, which I run bi-monthly. Alternatively, you can find the video of What is Humanism in this same channel. You can find the details of the next What is Humanism session and also of in-person Finding Fulfilment sessions in Meetup. Visit our calendar page to see the schedule. Here are some references if you'd like to go further in your journey towards fulfillment. You can find these slides at bit.ly/ha-finding-fulfillment or in the video description. Thank you for watching.